Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Got some great news. Kronos is back. Kronos is back, and it seems extremely stable. We had some hiccups this, a little bit earlier today. But so far so good. It's running great. So I'm officially back on Kronos, guys, back on the vanilla server. So I have a lot of things I want to cover during this video, so I'm going to get started right away. The first thing I want to cover is the minute differences in interface and character sheet that is in vanilla that we didn't really cover. Well, we couldn't cover because we were on Burning Crusade server, right? So let's get that situated first. I'm going to get somewhere safe so we can go over this. Alright, so I finished Pumpkin Quest, just like I promised. I've gotten to the point where we were before. Head up here for a second. So, real quick, interface options, okay? The video options are basically the same. It's just in a different setup, okay? So everything we went over in the last video will also apply here. Okay. Audio setup, also the same, just a little bit more simplistic, okay? You really don't have the ability to go in like those, those high-def audio or all that stuff, so we can't do that. The most different thing is here, the interface options, okay? It's a totally different menu, okay? Mouse sensitivity is still here, sticky targeting, attack on assist, auto clear AFK, that's still here, block trades, auto self-cast, that's all here. Okay, enhanced tooltips, status bar text, that's showing your stuff in the menu bar, so showing your percentages and stuff like that. I actually may click this now since we have no option to do percentages, so I may actually leave that clicked. Mature language filter is now called profanity filter, a little different. Automatic quest tracking is here. Checking this will hide. No, we don't want that. Buff durations, instant quest text, NPC names, show names. Just a lot less options, basically. Okay, guys. Mouse look speed. Camera settings are only these two options, and these are your tutorials. Under advanced options, we have our floating combat text like we had before. Our action bars are up here. Our chat options are here, and our raid and party is here. So very bare bones, guys. Okay, so that's that pretty much. So I'm going to cross that off our list. Cross off interface. Next thing I want to cover quickly is key bindings. Okay, we didn't really cover this in our old videos. I actually key bound two things. One is my charge and one is my battle shout. Again, in WoW you can click the icon of your ability or you can bind them to a key, okay? So instead of me always come down here and click battle shout, I've actually bound it to the F key. How do you do that? Well, we have to find where this is on here first. Actually, let's go to this because this is your main action bar, okay? So when you scroll, see there's all these things. Move and steer, move forward, W, S, A, D. Those are your movement keys, obviously, right? Jump is space bar. You can bind this to whatever you want. And the way you bind something is you click on it, press key to bind command, action bar 11, which is our charge. And I hit my middle mouse button, and it bound my middle mouse button. You have to hit OK, okay? And then it'll save. So from now on, I can hit my middle mouse button and charge a target. I also did, so let's go all the way down. Okay. Bottom right action bar 1. These are the additional action bars, guys. This is bottom left. This is bottom right. It's split in half. And these are your side action bars. They're called right action bar 1 and right action bar 2. Okay. So I bound the first bottom right action bar to F. So now I can battle shout with my F key. Okay. And that's key bindings. All right, guys. One more thing I want to cover, this is Kronos specific. When you reach level 5, they have a worldwide chat. Kind of cool. No matter where you are in the world, you can talk on it. To join it, you open your chat, /join world. Okay? I'm already joined, so this is player Melderon is already on the channel. Make sure when you're level 5, guys, you join this chat. Very important if you want to find a group, if you want to find somebody who's doing quests. It seems that people like to talk in here more. Honestly, it's kind of spammy. But, and you can always leave it. I think it's /leave Yes, left channel world, okay? And I can always join it again. If you feel it's becoming too spammy, guys, you can always leave it and come back. Okay? Alright, those are the 3 things I wanted to cover right away. Now, more WoW-specific things. I want to talk about combat status. Okay? I've completed my Pumpkin quest, so we can actually go towards Brill, but real quick, I want to talk about combat status. Right now, I am out of combat. Okay? I can increase my health if I get hurt, and I can sit around and I don't have to worry about somebody aggroing me. I can do whatever I want. Okay? However, when I enter combat, a lot of things change. For example, charge. Charge can only be used out of combat. As you can see on the tooltip, cannot be used in combat. When do we enter combat? When we get aggro from a monster. So when I charge this guy by hitting my middle mouse button, I charge him. I'm going to hit F for my battle shout. As you notice, charge is grayed out. For every class in this game, there's abilities that can be used while in combat or while out of combat. Okay, guys? It's very important to realize that sometimes your abilities won't be able to be used. Okay? This is a mining node over here, guys. I'll explain that in professions. Okay? Just want to go over that real quick. You know, you can't do certain things when you're in combat. You can't do some things when you're out of combat. Some things are only available out in combat, right? You can't heroic strike nothing. You have to be in combat. You have to have a target. Okay? So that's our combat status. Next thing I want to cover real quick is tagging mobs. Okay? Let's go this way. Okay, see this dust bat here? Let's pretend, for a moment, there was another player over here. Okay? And say you needed to kill this dust bat. The most important thing to do is when you hit them. As soon as you do damage to a target, it's yours. It cannot be stolen from you by another player. Okay? If someone else needed this target and I hit them, they can no longer get credit for it at all. Say it dropped a quest item, or say it was the quest item. Say killing these dust bats were your quest. You can't get credit if you didn't hit the target first. The way you can tell is if a target is grayed out. Okay? So if I follow this guy, let's see what he does. Hopefully he starts attacking something. Excuse me. Okay, let's watch this now. Let's click this guy. See how his name turned gray? I can no longer get credit for killing this monster. Okay? That's what I mean by tagging mobs. You want to tag your monsters quickly, especially if a lot of people are doing the same quest. You can always group with them. You can enter a party with them. Now that we're in a populated realm, I can actually click on someone and show you what I mean. If I click this character and right-click on his portrait, I can invite him into a party. I can whisper him. I can write hello. I'm not going to send it, but I can write hello. Okay, I can invite him in a party. I can trade with him. I can follow him. I can duel him. And we'll do all that stuff later. But I just want you to realize that tagging your monsters is important. Okay? Getting to them first and getting that initial hit. If they hit you, that isn't a tag. You have to do damage to them. Okay? Very important to realize. Getting hit by a monster does not make it yours. Hitting them makes it yours. Doesn't matter if it's 1 damage. Okay? That's something you have to realize. If you hit them with a damage over time effect first and not with an actual attack, the monster will not be tagged until the first damage is dealt. So say you hit them with, like, if you're a warlock and you put corruption on the target, or in corruption is a good example. It takes a second, excuse me, for that damage to be put on the target. So for that second beforehand, it can be hit by someone quickly, and they get the tag, even though you have your corruption on the target. Very important to realize that as well. Okay? Oh, this guy's a quest for me. I think it's collecting Doomweed, or Gloomweed, yes. So Gloomweed is all around the map here. And while I'm doing that, I will talk about something else called tab targeting. Okay, very important. When there's multiple enemies around, and you want to quickly cycle through which one you have to attack, you can use the tab key. Okay, I'm not, as you can tell here, there's 2 monsters here. I'm hitting tab here, I'm not clicking them. Tab will target each monster. Say I don't want to kill the dustbat, I want to kill the Dark Hound. I can tab. Okay? Tab targeting is great in instances if you want to quickly switch targets. Very important to realize, guys, that tab targeting is going to save you in the long run time, effort, and energy. Clicking the targets takes time. Using the tab key will allow you to cycle through targets very, very quickly. Okay? That's tab targeting. Now we're going to work our way. We're going to complete this quest real quick. We're going to find more Gloomweed. In Vanilla WoW, the items on the ground don't sparkle, as they do in Burning Crusade, which makes things a little difficult, okay? You need to actually find these things with your eyes, and I know what they look like because I play this game a lot, but the Gloomweed has a certain look to it, and if I see it on the ground, I know where it is. So, just keep looking, just keep scanning the horizon here. Oh, no, that's not one. Rotate. Oh, I aggroed someone. There's one right there. So I want to kill this guy first. Get him off my back. These guys are actually higher level than me. So I have to be careful. I'm running close switch in case someone else grabs it from me. I want to be there when the... I cannot collect this while in combat. If I try... Oh, actually it does. Oh yeah, there it is. It canceled. I cannot try to grab something when I'm in combat, guys. It'll cancel it. As soon as I get hit by the... oh, no, I'm going to die here. As soon as I get hit, it cancels. Okay? Very important to realize. If you're trying to get something, always make sure you're out of combat. Another reason why combat's important. If you want to gather something, you cannot be in combat. Oh boy, this is level 9. I am going to run, because this guy will kill me. I'll find the one that's a little safer to grab. See what I meant about the color of the level being a dark orange? He's more than 2 levels above me, meaning that he's much more powerful and could probably kill me. Here's our last Gloomweed. Okay. We're making our way towards our first town. It's called Brill. In the town, we're going to go over a lot of things. We're going to go over what inns are. Inns are places where we can set our Hearthstone to an alternate location. If we know we're going to be going to that place a lot, we can set the location there, and then whenever we use our Hearthstone, it will turn us to that location, not where we started. Not at the catacombs we started when we were level 1. We'll add a new Hearth point. Okay? So now we're making our way to Brill. Remember, we're out of the starting zone. Things are a lot more difficult here out here. Every zone in the game has roads, guys. If you want to avoid combat, the best place to run is on a road. Monsters have spawn points, okay? Spawn points, after they're killed by a player character, they will respawn. Most 99% of enemies have spawn points that are away from roads. In addition to spawn points, there are patrols, or we call them PATs in the game for short, okay? PATs, or patrols, are the path a monster will take around its spawn point. Some monsters have very defined patrols, or PATs, and some have random ones that go in a circle around their spawn point. They can move anywhere in a certain circle distance away from their spawn point, and that movement is totally random. Some monsters, however, have a patrol. That Gordo guy, that big fat guy who gave us that quest to collect the Doomweed, has a patrol, and he goes up and down this road. Even though he's an enemy, he's not an enemy, excuse me, he's a friendly character, he still has a patrol. Okay? So again, spawn points and patrols. Two things to think about. Every monster has a spawn point, every monster has a patrol. Okay? Alright, we've made it to Brill. This guy's a quest for us, which is actually back in the place I just was. We'll go back there later. We're actually going to get a lot of quests here, so I'm going to start tracking them all so I know what I'm doing. Okay. So current quest and available quests. Current quest is something I have to turn in. That was the pumpkin quest, so I'll click that first. We'll take that 1 silver, 75 copper. And And then it says, take the lace pumpkin to the captured Scarlet Zealot who is being held in the cellar of the Gallows End Tavern. We're going there anyway, so we're going to take that. And then he has another quest. He wants us to get 5 vials of Dark Hound blood. Okay? We'll track that one. And now we have a turn in here as well.
What now?
Okay. That was a delivery. Okay, kill 10 Scarlet Warriors. Which is that one. Okay. Guys, whenever you're in a town, watch out for wanted posters. They don't have an exclamation point on top of them, which is really annoying in vanilla, but this is actually a quest. Kill Magadai and return to Executor Zygon and Brill. Okay? So that's a quest. We're going to take that. Okay? We're also going to track that one. Right? Next, I want to talk about inns. This is our inn, okay, guys? This is the Gallows End Tavern Inn. This is a mailbox. We'll talk about that very soon. You can send mail to players, okay? Like, I can send a mail to myself if I want. I'm not going to send it because I don't want to spend the 30 copper postage, but I can literally say, hello, Melderon, I'm Melderon, right? And I can just send that. Also, I can add gold to this. I can add an item. You can mail a lot of things. When we talk about auctions, we're going to talk about that very soon. When I have something to auction, I will talk about auctions. If someone buys the auction, the money will be sent to you to the mailbox, and you'll have to get it here. Okay? Mailboxes are almost always near inns or in major cities. That's where you'll find mailboxes. Okay? Let's go into the inn. Real quick, look at my portrait. Level 6 Melderon, right? Deselect that guy. When I walk in the inn, look at my thing. I start getting these Z's that I'm sleeping. When you're leveling in the game, guys, you always want to log out of the game into an inn. Okay? When you're in an inn, every hour, see these little blocks of your experience bar? They're separated in blocks. Every hour, you're logged out. One of these blocks becomes blue to a maximum of 2 full levels. So if you log out for like 2 days, you get double experience. Rested experience, it's called. So right now, if you look at my XP bar, it says normal. 100% of normal experience gained for monsters. Okay, let's read this real quick. The amount of experience you have earned. The color of the XP bar indicates your rest state. Light blue for rested, purple for normal. Rested players earn twice the experience they would normally from slaying a monster, not from quests, guys, okay? Just from slaying monsters. So if you're slept, if you log out for a while, you'll actually get double experience points for whatever time you've been logged out. I think that was a big deal back when Warcraft first came out because Blizzard couldn't handle the influx of players and gave players a benefit for actually not playing all the time, non-stop. So that's something I want to talk about inns and sleeping. In the inn, every single inn has an innkeeper, okay? Who actually is a quest turn for us.
I'm listening.
So let's turn the quest real quick. And we want food, okay?
Do not
Done.
seek death.
Now, look at the options. Most... What is this? I'm not sure what that is. Okay. Innkeepers almost always have goods, usually food and water. But the most important thing innkeepers have is this. Make this in my home. Let's hover over your Hearthstone real quick. Returns you to Tearsfall Glades. Okay? Now, if I click this, and then accept, now look at our Hearthstone. Returns you to Gallows End Tavern. Okay, guys? That's how you switch your Hearth point. Real quick, one thing about questing. Whenever you see a quest, whenever you see a silver quest, that means you aren't at the level enough to get that quest. When I level up, probably to level 7 or 8, these guys will have a gold quest and I can actually accept the quest, okay? So that's, let's see if I can turn, this quest unfortunately is always backed up with people. Yeah. So we'll come back for that, okay? Unfortunately, everyone's trying to turn on that quest, and it's going to take a while, and it's going to just keep respawning, so we'll wait. Right now, I want to show you something upstairs. Okay. This isn't true for every inn, but some inns have profession trainers. We're going to go to our major city and talk about profession trainers, but I want to let you know that there's stuff up here too. There's a quest giver here. There's a mage trainer. There's a demon trainer for warlocks. A warlock trainer. So there's a lot of cool things over here. Priest trainer. So almost every single enchanting, which is a profession trainer, which we'll talk about professions in a very little bit. It's one of the huge things we're going to cover in this video. Our first profession I want to cover, though, is first aid. Okay?
I haven't got all day.
This is a first aid trainer. I can train you in first aid techniques. Okay? I want to learn first aid. So I hit train me, and I want to learn... the only thing I can that's available to me is apprentice first aid. I want to train that. One more thing, guys. I don't really care what I can't train. So what's in red means either I'm not at that level to train it, or my skill in my profession isn't high enough to learn it. I don't care what's red. I want to know what's green. So I'm going to uncheck unavailable. Okay? Now it only shows me what's available. So this game, there's a lot of professions. Okay? There are major professions and minor professions. First aid, cooking, and fishing are the minor professions. You can get all three of those. Okay? I'm not going to screw with first aid or cooking for this tutorial. I'm just not going to do it. There are reasons for that, mostly because I'm covering enough. I may do cooking. I haven't decided yet, but I'll let you know. If I can find a cooking trainer, I will. I think he's in here. So those three things, cooking, first aid, and fishing, you can train those, no matter what, okay? Of the major professions, you can only pick two. And they're split into gathering professions and crafting professions, okay? Of the crafting professions, there is engineering, which is creating devices and gear. The devices can be anything. It could be things from goggles that give you stats to weapons to bombs you can throw. It's a very weird profession. I never really got into it, but it's it can be interesting. The next one I go over is blacksmithing. Self-explanatory. You can make weapons and armor. Most of the armor is heavy armor, so it's going to benefit those classes that can wear heavy armor, paladins, and warriors. Okay? And these are crafting professions. So we have engineering, we have blacksmithing, we have leather working, which is for leather and mail wearers. Mail wearers can benefit from either blacksmithing or leather working, but leather working really benefits leather wearers. Okay? So it's skinning animals. Well, we didn't get into gathering professions yet, but it's taking raw material, leather, and creating leather armor. Okay? Blacksmithing, you create weapons for everyone, and you create heavy armor from minerals. We'll talk about that in a second. Next one I want to cover is alchemy. Alchemy uses plants to make potions, and also transmutation. Transmutation is taking one thing and turning it into something else. That will become later in the game. So there are certain alchemy skills where you can take a mineral and you can make it a magic mineral, okay? Or you can take something and make it more magical. That's transmutation. That's part of the alchemy tree. Okay? The next thing I want to talk about is tailoring. And this is for people who wear cloth armor, okay? It's taking raw cloth, like our linen cloth, and creating cloth armor, okay? The last crafting profession is called enchanting, okay? And it's a gathering and crafting profession together, which is kind of interesting because most things aren't that. Basically, as an enchanter, you're able to disenchant magical items that are green or above, green, blue, or purple, and turning them into raw magical material. With that raw magical material, you can then, in turn, enchant gear or weapons. Give them another magical ability. That's enchanting. Now let's go over the gathering professions. There are three. there are mining, which I showed you that mining node back there. That's when you go and use your mining pick to mine raw minerals, which can be used for either engineering or blacksmithing. Very important, okay? So mining goes with engineering and blacksmithing. The next gathering profession is herbalism. Herbalism is being able to pick flowers and plants and using them to make potions. So if you're an herbalist, you want to maybe go with, you want to pair that with, remember you're allowed to have 2 of these major professions. You want to pair that with herbalism, or sorry, alchemy, excuse me. So you can make potions. Okay? The next gathering profession is skinning. Skinning is after you kill an animal, most animals can be skinned, allowing you a chance to get leather from raw leather. That leather can be used by leather workers, okay, to make leather armor. So skinning goes with leather working. Okay? So for a warrior, what do you think my 2 professions should be? If you guessed mining and blacksmithing, you're right. That would be the most beneficial for me. However, I'm new to this server, and I want to make as much money as possible. So what I'm going to do is actually take 2 gathering professions, which you can do, mining and skinning. And I'm going to sell the raw mats, or materials, we call them mats in the games for short, on the auction house to make money. Okay? When I get to high level, like level 60, and I've made enough money to buy my mounts and gear, I will switch to blacksmithing. I will get rid of skinning, keep mining, and then train my blacksmithing. Okay? Another thing that really important to remember is that professions do not, they level, is what I meant to say. They level up, okay? You have to realize that they level up. They don't just, you're not just able to build and make the most awesome things right away. You have to level these things up, guys. You have to level your mining and your blacksmithing and your skinning. You know, when I learn skinning, when I go to Undercity, which is the major city, and I learn the skinning skill, I won't be able to skin high-level monsters. I'll only be able to skin low-level monsters until I get more experience. So just like your weapons and your defense scores that increase, so does your profession scores, okay? And you have to practice at them to get better at them, and to get more points in them, okay? So as soon as I turn in this quest, hopefully this guy will respawn soon, I will go to the major city and get my professions. I could train some of them here in Brill, but to make things easier for this tutorial, major cities always have all of your profession trainers, okay? And your class trainers, warrior trainers are there, every profession you can think of is there, all of them are there, okay? So major cities are places where we can get all of our training done. That's where auction houses are. Everything is under the sun is in a major city, okay? So we will do that soon. Okay? So that's pretty much professions. I will get into the nitty-gritty of that in a second. And we'll talk about major cities in this Zeppelin. And then we've actually covered everything I wanted to cover in this video. There's more I want to cover, but for this video, there's key principles I wanted to cover, and most of them was professions, because professions can be difficult to learn. I am going to take up cooking because I want you guys to see what crafting is like. Crafting, whether it's cooking or blacksmithing, is all the same. The same idea of you have to craft items in order to gain levels. So what you'll learn in cooking you'll be able to apply to your knowledge about. I'm gonna get this before this guy does. You will be able to apply to your knowledge about just make sure I have everything checked, guys. I do. There's one more request I have to turn in. Here's a warrior trainer here, but I actually don't need to train because I've trained already. Alright. I'm going to turn in this... Well, let me see if I can find the cooking trainer real quick, actually, guys. First aid. Warrior. Is there a cooking trainer here? I'll just do it in Undercity. Screw it. No big deal. Okay. Very important thing I want to cut. Oh, I should turn this quest first. Then we'll talk about Zeppelins. So, it's a big world, guys, okay? There are 2 major continents. If you zoom out, this is the one continent, the Eastern Kingdoms. This is Kalimdor, the second continent. Okay, if you click on them, you can actually zoom in to each area. Okay. In this game, there are 3 major cities. Undercity, which we're going to go into now, which is the main city for the undead. Orgrimmar, which is the Horde capital city, and that is located in Duratar, across the sea. Okay. Which is where the orcs and the trolls hail from. And then there's Thunderbluff in Mulgore, which is also in Kalimdor, the other continent. We're on the Eastern Kingdoms continent. Okay, there's the Eastern Kingdoms and Kalimdor. And that's where the Tauren are from, Thunderbluff. So how do we get across the sea, right? So for Horde, we have Zeppelin system. And this is one of the points, the Zeppelin points. Okay? This guy because I want to talk to you. So the Zeppelin system is really cool. They fly in the air and they go to other cities. Okay, so here is the Zeppelin. You run into the building, run up the steps. There's one of the Zeppelins coming in now. I think they arrive every 10 minutes or so, if I had to guess time. This one's about to go, so I want to see if I can get on this one. There are 3 Zeppelin points in the game. Okay, guys? There's here, Tirsfall Glades. Here, Gromgol Base Camp, which is on the southern tip of the Eastern Kingdoms. And the third one is here in Orgrimmar. Okay? There are only 3. So this one's going to take me to Stranglethorn Vale. And the Zeppelin channel there is called... The Zeppelin point there is called Gromgol Base Camp. So this Zeppelin will actually take me all the way to the tip, the southern tip of the Eastern Kingdoms, within seconds. So this will actually go to a loading screen. Why are my guys doing that? It's kind of weird. So once it gets to a certain point, it'll actually go to a loading screen. You'll see. And then we'll be instantly transported to the point on the map there, Gromgol Base Camp. Okay? My guy's still making this weird in combat. Like he's in combat, I'm not sure why. Okay, so now I'm all the way down to Stranglethorn Vale. I would be very stupid to get off of this Zeppelin and start walking around because the monsters here are much higher level than me. They're actually around 30-ish, I believe. Now this Zeppelin that just left is actually going to Orgrimmar. So I'm going to have to wait. I'm going to have to wait on this Zeppelin to get back to Tirsfall Glades, unfortunately. Okay? So if you'll notice, unfortunately, I think something's wrong with the server, unfortunately, guys. I don't see anyone here, which means that the server may be going down. See if I can get this out. Yeah, well, nobody's answering. Maybe it's just me. So essentially, this is the transit system for the Horde. The Alliance also has a transit system, guys. It's, they're boats. We can also get on boats too. There's one in Ratchet that will take us to, I believe, Booty Bay, which is also in Stranglethorn Vale. But that's a neutral. That is called a neutral boat. It's a neutral transit system. We can get on the Alliance boat, but we probably won't live. We'll be killed very, very quickly because we'll be instantly flagged for PvP. Also, I want you to notice, Stranglethorn Vale is neutral territory, guys. See this Horde insignia on my nameplate? I am now flagged for player versus player combat. Okay? The starting zones and the subsequent zones next to them are controlled by your faction. You cannot be attacked by the opposing faction unless you flag yourself for PvP by right-clicking on your portrait and flagging yourself. I do not recommend flagging yourself for PvP, guys, unless you are ready to get your butt whooped. Unfortunately, on a PvP server, fortunately or unfortunately, you have no control about the flagging if you're in neutral territory. Okay? If you're in neutral territory, you're automatically flagged for PvP. Nothing you can do about it. Okay? So I'm going back to Tirisfal Glades now, and then I'm going to head to Orgrimmar just to show you what the other side, the other Zeppelin's like, okay? Or what the other continent's like. Still kind of concerned about why I can't. Very interesting. My character just seems like he's stuck. Okay, we go for Zeppelin. I'm going to run down to this side. Here's a player. Maybe it's just me who's having a problem. Okay. So this is the other side. If you're not sure what Zeppelin you're on, you can actually talk to the Zeppelin Master. Okay, my brother said we could make great money with this trade route, but he did blah, blah, blah. You'll see in the text he said Orgrimmar. Okay, so now you know you're in the right place to go to Orgrimmar. If you're not sure which Zeppelin you're on, you can always talk to the Zeppelin Master and he'll tell you where. And you have to ask him where's the Zeppelin now, and he's not answering me. Anyway, it just could be a glitch. I'm not really sure. Okay, here's the Orgrimmar Zeppelin coming in now, guys. Again, I think they're every 10 minutes. That is totally based on my experience. I have no data to back that up. So the Zeppelin system is how you're going to get from continent to continent. This is going to be very important because we're going to have to eventually go to Orgrimmar to do some questing, to do some dungeons, to have some real fun. Okay, so I'm going to just jump on the Zeppelin here. So I see players running around now. I'm not sure what the problem was. I'm going to show you guys something really cool. /reload UI, space UI. Let me try it. Did I spell reload wrong? Let me just /reload. Okay. Not sure what happened there. 1 second, guys. Seem to have some technical problems right now. Not sure why. Oh well, it's not a huge deal. Anyway, let's wait for the Zeppelin to go over across the sea and we'll be in Orgrimmar, finally. Okay, we are finally leaving Brill. We're leaving the Eastern Kingdoms, and we're going to be traveling across the sea to Orgrimmar. Okay? So It's a very big game, guys. The continents are very, very large. It'll take you hours and hours to run across them. There is another form of transportation we're going to be talking about called flight paths. We will talk about flight paths once I get to a place that there is a flight path, and not before. And then we'll start talking about that, okay? Seems like my guy is now no longer in combat stance, which is good. Okay, this is the other continent, guys. Now we are finally in Kalimdor. This is the continent of Kalimdor, okay? And each of these houses on the map are actually horde or neutral hubs or cities or bases. And each of these usually has a flight path associated with it. So now we can fly from place to place. The catch is we have to visit that place, okay, first, before we can actually fly there. So that's the Gate of Orgrimmar. I won't spoil that until we actually get there. I want you to see what it's like to walk into Orgrimmar. It's actually an awesome sight. And once we do that, that's going to be just awesome. So, but for now, we're just going to hang out in the Zeppelin, and we're going to take it back to Tirisfal Glades, and then we're going to head into Undercity, which is the first major city we're going to hang out at. Okay. We're going to check out, and it's the Undead City. Very easy to navigate. It's actually a giant circle, and then we'll see where the profession trainers are, and we'll get our first professions and get the gear we need for our professions, and then we can finally start moving on from that. We actually start gathering profession materials and crafting food, which will be used to eat because we're warriors and we need food. So our cooking won't go to waste. Again, usually you pair crafting professions with gathering professions, but in this circumstance, I will not be doing that for the core reason of I got to make some cash. And the way to make fast cash, guaranteed, is to sell materials. Everyone needs materials. Okay? That's how we're going to make the bulk of our money. So now we're heading back to the Eastern Kingdoms. We're heading back to Tirisfal Glades. We're heading back to the Brill area and the Undercity area, and we're going to be able to go down and into Undercity now. Real quick, I want to go over. Well, it cleared, but okay. Now we're back in Tirisfal Glades. All right. So go into your spell book. You go to the General tab. You'll see there's First Aid here now. Okay. We're gonna put that on our action bar and click on it. Linen Bandage. Okay. All of your profession windows are gonna look just like this. Okay. First Aid is a crafting profession. You have to craft bandages, which can be used outside or inside of combat to heal yourself. So a linen bandage heals 66 damage over 6 seconds. Remember though, just like just like gathering something, if we're hit or we're interrupted, remember that? Eating and drinking and using a bandage, if we're hit or taking periodic damage, it interrupts. Okay? So if we're using a bandage and something hits us, we will cancel the bandage and you'll lose that bandage. When you're out of combat, though, you can use the bandage as long as you want because nothing's hitting you and you won't be canceled. I'm just going to jump down here. Don't try this at home. Okay, I took a lot of damage, but I'm still alive. So we're going to create We're actually going to create 4 linen bandages. I'm going to show you how a bandage works. We've created 4. If you'll notice, we've also gained points. Whenever a profession thing is orange, you're guaranteed an increase of a point of that profession. If it's yellow, you're not guaranteed, but it's likely to occur. If it's green, it is unlikely to occur, but can still happen. If it's gray, you will not get level up if you're for making that item. Okay? So if we look into our inventory, there are 4 linen bandages. If I right-click on it, it channels, and I start to do it. As long as you're channeling, you'll be healed. So it heals per second, and that's how a bandage works. Very, very easy. You just right-click on it. It can be used outside or inside of combat. Just remember, bandages, eating, drinking, picking up items, all get canceled and interrupted when you take damage. Always. Okay? So that's our first profession we're going to talk about. Remember, first aid is a secondary profession, along with cooking and fishing, and every character can get all three of those things if they want to. You don't have to. Okay. There's a lot of lore behind this. I will talk about this next video because I don't have time. Okay? But this is a very important part of the game, and subsequent expansions to come. Okay, we're going to... So Undercity has elevators. It has 3 sets of elevators. These guys actually guard them. They're actually city guards. So if you run into this elevator, it'll take you down. And you'll run into here. And all these dead bodies are because people get stuck under the elevator and it kills them. Try not to do that. So we hit the map. This is the map of Undercity. It has a trade quarter where there are auction houses on each wing. And it has 4 sections. War quarter, the magic quarter, the rogues quarter, and the apothecarium. Okay? If you talk to these guards, they will give you directions. We need to find, the first thing we need to find is the cooking trainer. So if we hit this, and then hit cooking, if we look on our mini-map, a golden arrow appears, and it says Undercity Cooking Trainer. So if we follow that golden arrow, it seems like our cooking trainer is over here. Okay? Here it is, the cooking trainer. So I want to learn how to cook. So I will say, yes, I want to learn how to be an apprentice cook. Okay? So I hit train, and I also learn how to make all these items. So if I go to my spell book, there's cooking. We'll put that on our action bar. And there's campfire. Okay? I need flint and tinder and simple wood to actually make a campfire, so we'll get that stuff. I don't know if she makes it or cooking supplies. Here we go.
And you,
he doesn't have what we need. I think a trade good has that. Okay, so we click the cooking thing. We can actually already make something. We can make charred wolf meat because in our inventory we've picked up from a dead wolf, stringy wolf meat. The key is, guys, we need a fire to make it. There is no. Actually, we can use her fire, so we'll actually make our first cooking thing. We'll actually hit create. Again, it's orange, so we're guaranteed a skill up point. So now we're cooking as 2. And if you see here, charred wolf meat. Okay, restores just as much health as our mushroom. So we're actually going to sell it. We still get the skill point up. I just don't need to carry all this stuff, right? So I'm gonna sell it. I made 5 copper. Okay, so that's cool. All right. So now we need our 2 other professions, which are going to be what? Skinning and mining, right? Okay. So let's click here. Let's look for a profession trainer again and say I want to find the mining trainer. He says it's in the war quarter. Okay, so the war quarter is, if we look on our map, is blue. So if we look around, we have to find the blue place. That's purple, green. So blue must be over here, right? Here's blue. Major cities are they look daunting, but they're easy to get around if you know who to ask and what to ask, okay? Each of these wings has auctioneers, 2 in each, so these are auctioneers. We'll talk about auctioning when we get to the point where we can auction things. It's a whole other aspect of the game that's very important. And again, we're going to follow our golden arrow here to find our mining trainer. This is the war quarter. This is more for warriors, blacksmiths, all the stuff that blacksmiths need to do, and engineers are in the war quarter. So here's our mining trainer. We're going to right click, we're going to hit train me, and we're going to take apprentice mining for 10 copper. Yes. And with that comes 2 abilities: find minerals and smelting. Okay. Find minerals. When we click it, right click, if you'll notice up here, it says find minerals. Now, whenever I'm in the world and I come across a mineral node in my general vicinity, it will come on my mini-map, and I'll be able to find it. Very, very important. Whenever you die, you have to recast find minerals. Also, whenever you log in, I believe you have to recast find minerals. Always have that up, guys, if you want to find mineral nodes. Smelting takes the raw copper that we'll mine from copper nodes. There are other kind of minerals in the game, but we haven't got that high enough level yet. And we can smelt copper bars. Okay? Copper bars are used by engineers and by blacksmiths, excuse me, to make stuff. Okay? And that's our mining. Now, we also need a mining pick. Guys, you can't mine anything unless you have a mining pick. Very, very important. Okay? I'll put it in my bag here along with... I'll leave that here. Okay. Now we need, the last thing we need is we need to find our skinning trainer. I think it's in the Rose Quarter, but I need to double check, and I need to ask I need to ask a guard. Before we go there, though, I want to show you that along with all the other things I found here that we've talked about, since I'm a warrior, all my class trainer. So we also need to look at. So if we ask this guy, hey, I don't want a profession trainer, I want a class trainer. And I'm a warrior. Oh, well, you came to the right place. It's right over here in the outer ring of the war quarter. Good. All of my warrior trainers are in this building, guys. Okay? I won't go in there, but if I need to train for a warrior, and so are priest trainers apparently, it's in this building. Okay? Every 2 levels, remember, every even level, we have to train. You don't have to, but you should. Okay, last thing we need is a skinning trainer. Yep, Rose Quarter. Okay, in the inner ring of the Rose Quarter. So let's go there. Let's look at our mini-map real quick. Rose Quarter is across the way, so the fastest way for us to get there is actually run across. So we're going to go back out this way. We're going to go across, back through the trade quarter, which is the middle section of the Undercity. And run into the Rogues Quarter. Purple. Again, every time you go into a quarter, what's to your left and right? Auctioneers. One there, and one there. Okay? And this is only specific to Undercity, guys. Orgrimmar is laid out totally differently. So you have to learn each city, unfortunately, but that's just the way this game is. It's a very, very big game, a very, very immense game, and there's a lot to learn. But you guys are doing great. This is the 4th episode of our tutorial, and there's more to come. Okay. Alright. Now, skinning trainer. Train me. Apprentice skinning. This will allow us, guys, to right-click dead animal corpses and skin them. But we need, guess what? A skinning knife. We can't skin anything unless we have a knife to skin them with, okay? So we have our mining pick for mining, and we have our skinning knife for skinning. Try not to sell these things, guys. We need them, okay? If you do sell them, you can always buy another one. But you can't mine and you can't skin without these 2 items in your inventory. Okay. So the 2 things we have to look out for at all times are cloth. What do we use our cloth for? Our first aid. Raw meat. What do we use our raw meat for? Cooking. Mining nodes with our fine minerals. And what do we use mining nodes for? To mine. And lastly, dead animal corpses. We have to remember to skin them, guys, because we're going to sell that leather, we're going to sell that mining ore, and we're going to make some gold. And the gold will allow us to do a lot of things. It'll allow us to buy gear. Allow us to. I'm going to save up for our mounts, but it'll do that. Real quick. I'm going to see if I can get into a leveling guild. I'm just going to spam that for a second and see if anybody responds. If they do, cool. If not, whatever. I'm going to go over guilds next episode. If I can get into a guild, I'm going to try to get into a guild as much as I can. I would run back to Brill, but I want to show you how a Hearthstone works, guys. So I want to right-click on my Hearthstone. And we're going to let that cast all the way through. And boom, guys, we're back in our inn. Cool, huh? So, I basically covered everything I wanted to cover in this episode, which is great. So now, next episode, we're going to be actually working through our professions a little bit more. I'm going to show you how skinning and mining works and how cooking works. And first aid. We're going to complete some quests, finally. And then we're going to talk more. Eventually, a friend of mine, JR, is going to help us with party systems. So next time he plays, we're actually going to go into a party with him, and we're going to work through what a party is and how parties work. So a party consists of anywhere between 2 to 5 players. And parties are really important for questing. They're important for dungeoning. That's the most important thing. But sometimes you need additional players to do quests. And sometimes it's just fun to have another player to do quests. But the important things we have to go over with questing is how loot works, how experience works, and how gold is divided. Okay, or money. Guys, thanks again. This is Melderon signing out. This is episode 4. Stay tuned for episode 5, which I'll be probably recording next right away, so we can just keep playing. And I had a great time. All right, see you later.